الله أكبر الله أكبر.
Then we must ask them, why did they break and destroy all those structures over the grave of Sayyidatuna Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha, over the grave of Sayyidina Imam Hassan radiallahu anhu, over the grave of Sayyidina Uthman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and over the graves of the companions of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and the tabi'een and the atba'u tabi'een like Imam Malik radiallahu anhu and his teacher. Why did they destroy those graves? Now, they will say that in order to prevent grave worship, firstly, I would like to point out that Imam Ahmad Rida Khan, whose title was Al-Barelvi, and the meaning of Barelvi was a town. Imam Ahmad Rida Khan was from the town of Barelvi, so he became known as Barelvi. But Barelvi is not a sect or a new group. We are people who follow the Aqidah of Ahlul Sunnah wal Jama'ah. I have been sitting here for over an hour lecturing you, and I have given sources from Al-Quran Al-Kareem and the Sunnah of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Not from later scholars, but from Al-Quran and the Hadith of the Messenger sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So, Imam Ahmad Rida Khan rahimahullah ta'ala himself has written a book, زبدة الزكية في التحريم سجدة تحية, a book, an epistle which can be found in the Fatawa, that the prohibition of prostration for ta'zeem, even for veneration. If someone says, I am respecting him and I am not worshipping him, that sajda is still haram. That sajda is still haram. So why every video they find of a place in Pakistan where people from the countryside will gather and perform shirk, and this is being recorded, and I want this to be recorded, and people must answer this if they are fair and just. Why are they taking videos of the Rawafid Shia, or videos of people who are juhad, ignorant people who do not even follow Imam Ahmad Rida Khan, making videos of them and then naming them Barelvi? Did you know Imam Ahmad Rida Khan rahimahullah ta'ala prohibited musical instruments, prohibited qawwali. Imam Ahmad Rida Khan rahimahullah ta'ala, his view was that pictures are haram. Pictures, drawn pictures, they are haram. And Imam Ahmad Rida Khan rahimahullah ta'ala was strict on men wearing bangles and gold and other things and imitating women. So after knowing this, but yet people are still spreading propaganda by finding videos of Rawafid, for instance, this man known as Bori Nori. They placed a video of a man called Bori Nori who was doing all sorts of acts with mixed gatherings and women and men dancing, and they called this Barelvi gathering. When in fact the man is a Shi'i, a Rafidi from Lahore. And this is what I call injustice. People must do justice and look at the works of Imam Ahmad Rida Khan rahimahullah ta'ala. But even if I have to say that, I have to say that even when they quote the works of Imam Ahmad Rida Khan rahimahullah ta'ala, they misquote. I'll give you two examples. Example number one, personally, which I have experienced, is that a man who had become a Najdi came to me and said, Imam Ahmad Rida Khan rahimahullah ta'ala believes and said and wrote in one of his works, وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ, I am quoting, نَقْلُ الْكُفْرِ لَيْسَ كُفْرًا, the copying of kufr is not kufr. He said that the God of the Deobandis is, and he used bad language. I do not want to use that bad language. He quoted a word of Imam Ahmad Rida Khan, Subhan al-Sabuh, which can be found in volume 15. I brought the work itself and I gave it to him and I said, show me that passage. The person did not know the passage because he had been reading the work of Ihsan Ilahi Zahir, the Barelvis. And he had been quoting the passage from that work, a secondary source. when I looked at the actual passage said that the Deobandis consider it possible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lie. The Deobandis believe in what we call Imkan al-Kadhib or Imkan al-Kadhib. They believe in the possibility. Now they are rewording this and saying extrinsically impossible for Allah to lie. They believe in this. It is extrinsically impossible for Allah to lie, meaning intrinsically possible. But when Imam Ahmad al-Tahan rahimahullah ta'ala refuted this, he said if you believe it's extrinsically impossible for this disgusting thing, which is known as lying, to be extrinsically impossible, then you must believe in X, Y, and Z also. This was the context of the quote. Another example, one of them quoted from the Malfoud. And the Malfoud is not the work of Imam Ahmad al-Tahan, it is the work of one of his followers who he dictated the work to. And he said that Imam Ahmad al-Tahan wrote that the prophets ﷺ are alive in their graves and their wives are presented to them in their graves. But when you go back to the Malfoud, Imam Ahmad al-Tahan rahimahullah ta'ala is quoting Imam al-Zurqani. And he is saying that we know for a fact that when the Anbiya ﷺ pass away, can anyone marry their wives? No. Once the prophets die and pass away, the people after them cannot marry their wives. Why? Because the nikah is not broken. Because they are alive in their graves. So, Imam Ahmad al-Tahan rahimahullah ta'ala was quoting Imam al-Zurqani rahimahullah ta'ala. And I will give you a third example. This is needed. Hadayat al-Bakhshish is a work of poetry, and this work has been transmitted by tawatur. And even the ulama of Deoband who are listening to this will know what I mean by tawatur, mass transmission. People have been reading the poetry of Imam Ahmad al-Tahan in their thousands from the time it was written until today. So if someone changes a passage, those thousands of Indian and Pakistani Muslims who recite this, and British Muslims, we will know that this has been tampered with. A forgery was made where we know Hadayat al-Bakhshish is 2 parts. They made a 3rd part. Someone made a forgery and made a 3rd part in which insulting remarks were made regarding Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. The Deobandis quote this 3rd part and say Imam Ahmad al-Tahan radiallahu ta'ala insulted Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha. I want every person who is on the fence, or people who are even Deobandi, to be just, who are listening to this and to look at this, that a man who wrote Takfir of the Shia, the Rawafid, the 12 Shia, he has a book called Radd al-Rifda in volume 14 of the Fatawa, in volume 14. He did Takfir of the Rawafid. One of the reasons why he considered them disbelievers was because of their insulting of Sayyidatuna Aisha radiallahu anha. And the work, the Fatawa of Imam Ahmad al-Tahan is positively ascribed to him. And the word Hadayat al-Bakhshish has come to us through mass transmission. This volume 3 of Hadayat al-Bakhshish was a forgery. So these are examples of where people, even if they quote the works of Imam Ahmad al-Tahan rahimahullah ta'ala, you must go back to the originals. And the same would go for when people quote the works of the Deobandiyah. I would say the same. If I quote a work of the Salafiyah or the Deobandiyah or the Shia to you, we must go back to the original and look at the context. If I quote a passage of Hifzul Iman, or the work Barahim al-Qati'ah, or the work Fatawa Rashidiyah, and the other works of the Deobandiyah, then inshallah you will find that we will quote them in context. And you will find also that they will affirm that these are indeed the beliefs, and they will even defend them like now they are defending it being extrinsically impossible for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to lie. وَالْعِيَاذُ بِاللَّهِ أَقُولُ قَوْلِ هَذَا وَاسْتَغْفِرُ اللَّهَ لِي وَلَكُمْ وَأَتُوبُ إِلَيْهِ.